trophy is being handed over to the President of Sri Lanka Rugby, and this also signifies that this trophy is open for competition. The General Manager of Nippon Paint, Mr. Nippon, will be handing over the sponsorship agreement for the season 2022-23 to the President of Sri Lanka Rugby, Mr. Rizli.
We see is even after the 2 years of COVID, when we started playing, the clubs immediately got into action. The boys were sort of keen to go out, show their culture in the game, and the competition is going to be very tight. But this year is going to be a very tough challenge.
As Nippon Paint Lanka, we have responsibility towards local sports and young people to showcase their skills. So this is an opportunity for Nippon Paint as a sponsor and for clubs and young people to come out and play rugby.
A very good afternoon and welcome to the the Air Force grounds, I should say, at Ratmalana here, the Sri Lanka Rugby Nippon Paints Inter-Club Rugby League 2022-2023, and its Air Force are hosting CRNFC live from Ratmalana here on a lovely day. It's nicely overcast, it's just quite cool, and the breeze is heading out on this ground quite strongly from right to left. Joining me in the commentary tent is Abdullah Yusuf, looking out over this game, which could be a real banana skin for Sia. And earlier, we'll just tell you exactly what happened earlier today as well. And it's going to be a real cracker of a game if this one was anything to go by. These are the two teams warming up, and we've just finished the women's game as well. CRNFC just edging out a very strong Air Force side a little while earlier in at this Air Force grounds, and really nice scenes here from Air Force. Really took it down to the wire, but unfortunately for them, the visitors were victorious on this occasion in the women's game, and they will be hoping to go one better in this game as well. We can see the Air Force team being put through their paces by Dylan Soiza, the trainer and assistant coach, with Shamli Navas, and this is the CRNFC team who are busy warming up as well. Just a few more minutes for kickoff. Abdullah, looks like these two teams are not taking this game lightly, preparing as if their lives depended on it.
Absolutely, Shanaga. Yes, good evening, everyone. As you very correctly said, Shanaga, really tricky encounter for CRNFC coming here to Ratmalana. Never an easy task. Air Force probably not getting the results that they have wanted, but nonetheless have been producing some very good rugby. I think the luck on certain occasions hasn't quite been on their side. So CRNFC will definitely need to bring their A game today. They have built a little bit of momentum from that loss, that close loss to Kandy, but they'll definitely know that they'll need to be on top of their game if they are to get the result they want today.
Yes, will it be third time lucky for them? They've been very close with Kandy, very close with Police as well, and will be looking for a win on their home grounds. We'll be back on the Nippon Paints Rugby League after the break.
Nippon Paints. Live with colors. Life is meant to be lived to the fullest. Live with joy. Live with nature. Live with hope. Live with trust. Live with dreams. Live with happiness. Inspire your life with colors. Nippon Paint.
විශ්වාසේ හද බැඳුනා ජීවිතයේ රසමවනා
වසර 102ක විශ්වාසයෙන් දැන් ඕඩලස් තාක්ෂණයෙන්
Nippon Odorless Paints තත්වයෙන් උසස් හොඳම තේරීම
Nippon Paints. Live with colors.
The largest paint supplier of Japanese vehicles, original equipment manufacturer approved, Nax Premila 2K is the most premium quality auto refinishing solution you will ever need.
Play to win the game. We'll take care of your aches and pains. Sidale Spray. Trusted for 8 decades for quick relief from all aches and pains.
Nippon Paints. Live with colors. Life is meant to be lived to the fullest. Live with joy. Live with nature. Live with hope. Live with trust. Live with dreams. Live with happiness. Inspire your life with colors. Nippon Paint.
ආදරයේ සුව කැන්දා වර්ණ රසකී මන බඳිනා විශ්වාසේ හද බැඳුනා ජීවිතයේ රසමවනා
වසර 102ක විශ්වාසයෙන් දැන් ඕඩලස් තාක්ෂණයෙන්
Nippon Odorless Paints තත්වයෙන් උසස් හොඳම තේරීම
Nippon Paints. Live with colors.
The largest paint supplier of Japanese vehicles, original equipment manufacturer approved, Nax Premila 2K is the most premium quality auto refinishing solution you will ever need.
Play to win the game. We'll take care of your aches and pains. Sidale Spray. Trusted for 8 decades for quick relief from all aches and pains.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the Air Force grounds here in Ratmalana on a wonderful day for rugby. And we are bringing you live coverage of the Nippon MENS Rugby League 2022-23. We have Air Force, the hosts, taking on CRNFC, who are lying in third place in the league at the moment. And it's going to be a really interesting game today with Air Force being almost giant killers, but coming up just short against a few of their opposition. The CRNFC team, the visitors lining up for today. Ashan Darling, Dilshan Jaya is the new hooker. He's been preferred in place of Supun Vannakolasuri, who started last week. Lairu Pavitra makes it back into the front row. Soiru Anthony and Ravin De Silva moves from 8 to 5. Devinda Ratnayaka, Vagisha Veerasinghe and Lasindu Vishan makes it back to the starting lineup. We have Kavindu De Costa, the captain, Tenuka Nanayakara, Radishan Achinta, Ruchira Ekanayaka, Manilka Ruberu and Chatura Seneviratne. In the last line of defense, I think we have Gamunu Chetia as well and Zubair Dore at number 14 and 15. The Air Force team, Prasanna Madhusankar, Shamilka Kausha, Nirmal Vikramasinghe, Javira Nilantha, Shashika Fernando, the former Wesleyite, moving into the second row. Revanka Bewardena, the former Thomian captain. Vimukti Fernando, Saraka Veral, the number 8. And Nuan Pereira has been a really tricky customer at number 9. Ganta Iddamalgoda, we all know what he can do from number 10. Really good ball runner. Darshan Dabare, Surya Kishan, look for him making a comeback into this Air Force team. Ramita De Silva, Sudat Bandara, and Nadun Gunasekara making up the last line of defense. So look for that Air Force bench as well. Lots of good conditioning on that bench, Abdullah. So I think it's going to be a really closely fought out battle here today.
Yes, absolutely, Shanak. And I think, just as you mentioned, how crucial could the bench be on both sides, isn't it? Both teams packed with stars on that bench as well, and it will be interesting to see how both coaches, Dushant Luke FCR and Shamli Nawaz of Air Force, use their bench to good effect, as we see the dignitaries being introduced to teams. And it's also another crucial aspect in this game could be the tactical kicking as well, isn't it? We've seen how well CRNFC have used the Chatura Seneviratne's big boot throughout the season. I'm sure he'll enjoy the conditions here as well, because if he can get a bit of height, there's real swirling wind here at Ratmalana that could prove quite a handful for the Air Force back three. While Air Force, on the other hand, will use the kicking nouns of Iddamalgoda, the really experienced Air Force fly half. His role today will be crucial for them as well.
Certainly will be. Abdullah Chatra will definitely enjoy it for at least 40 minutes when he's playing with the wind. Not sure how he's going to like it when he's against it. But Nalin De Silva, the former Air Force player and now Deputy President of Sri Lanka Rugby, Chairman of the Tournament Committee as well. And he was meeting the players along with the dignitaries of both clubs. So the teams are ready to kick off. This is Air Force having their last little huddle. They know how important this game is. They're on their home grounds. They've come so close, Abdullah, to Kandy Sports Club as well. They came so close to beating Police. They had just a raft of penalties against them in the last bit of the game, where they will feel that they could really have won that match, and they've come so close on so many occasions. They'll want to get over the line today.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think they can afford to drop a game if they go on. They have been playing a bit solid rugby without being too flashy. But I think it's not just the win today, Shanaka. They will be looking at the bonus point as well. But first things first, they've just got to ensure that they do get the big W.
For CRNFC as well, it's going to be an important game because they're sitting in third place behind Havelocks, who have a few more bonuses than they do. And that is something that they will be keeping an eye on for sure. But they will also want to get the W here. It doesn't matter if they concede a bonus point to Air Force, of course, but they will definitely want to get the W and try and get the bonus point on their end as well. So the referee is ready. And we have Veranga, who will be taking on the arduous task of being the man in the middle today. An Air Force kickoff, this Nippon MENS Rugby League game. You're live on sportsads.lk and also on Sri Lanka Tuskers YouTube channel. So a mistake from the first kickoff. We talked about that wind. We talked about the wind last week as well at the racecourse grounds. These big open grounds, Abdullah, bringing a different factor into play, something that those teams don't deal with a lot in training.
Yes, and especially for CR, isn't it, Shanaka? It's a much more closed environment back down at London Place. Air Force will be much more accustomed to these conditions, so It's a bit surprising to see that first kickoff not finding its mark.
Dilshan Jaya on the far side of the scrum for Sia, an area where came under a little bit of concern last week against CH. Much better scrum to start off with. They've clearly been doing a lot of work on their set piece. Viranga shouting no. Straight through the gap goes Vagisha Veerasinghe. It was Ravin De Silva who tried to barge it through, but there was a penalty coming for Sia from the scrum.
Yes, just the start they would have wanted. Really strong statement by the Sia front five on that occasion, putting a lot of pressure on that Air Force scrum. And the second infringement by Air Force, just 30 meters away. Don't think the tackler had rights to that ball. So penalty for CR, and looks like they'll be going to the post.
Looks like it's Senuka Nanayakara who will be taking on the kicking duties early on. They've got Chatra Senaviratna in the side, who has been very good with the boot for them over the course of this season. That's Revanka Abewardana, former Thomian captain. Unfortunately couldn't really see through his season in charge in 2020 due to COVID. Real shame for a lot of those schoolboy players who missed out on what would have been their dream years. As Nanayakara lines this up, he's got the wind behind him, remember. So this should be an easier kick with the distance. Interesting that they've gone to Tenuka Abdullah and not to Chatra early on. Well, that's the sort of 3 points that they can't afford to leave on the park. Nanayakara with the miss, and that's where you have to question the wisdom, especially when they've got Nanayakara and of course Zubair Dore in the side. Maybe Chatra has a little bit of an injury, but we did see him kicking in the warm-ups.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes they probably felt that Nanayakara would be a better option when the range is a bit closer to the post.
Gamunu Chetia with the long ball out to Murshid Zubair. Quick ball to Nanayakara again, and here's a little bit of space now opening up for Ruchira Ekanayaka, who has scored a few tries on this left wing for Sia. Straight through and good clearing up. Lahiru Pavitra holds up some defense and ball is laid back nicely. Good communication from referee Viranga, making it very clear that he wanted the blue player to take his hands off. Little grubber through.
Please get back, blue. Stay, blue, stay.
And nicely
Blue,
dealt
stay.
with that time by the Air Force defense.
Red, get back, red,
This
get
one
back.
thumped into the Ratmalana sky. It was a good chase by Kavindu De Costa. And Sierra FC managed to win the line-out. So another area where they really struggled last week. Gamunu Chetia doing well in that chase also. And this is the man, Gayanth Iddamalgoda, who might spark something for Air Force. Watch for him during the course of the game.
It's a great, good, positive start by Sierra FC, creating a few phases, asking questions of that Air Force defense.
Maul. Stay.
It's like
Stay.
get a good, clean line out. Trying to use that driving maul, but Air Force do well to put a halt to that drive.
No.
Devinder Ratnayaka winning that line-out ball, but coming straight in from the side and taken quickly by Costa.
No.
Ravin De Silva taking it up into the 22. Screaming for the ball, Malika Ruberu now to Gamunu Chetia. Dore. Chatra Senaviratna takes it over the 5-meter line. He does well to lay it back, and that's a try for CRNFC, the one that they would have been desperately waiting for. Lasindu Vishan Karunathilaka, like the good number 8 that he is, corner flagging and making sure he got that support line and scores his first try in CR colours.
Yes, a wonderful bit of passage of play by Sierra FC, creating a few phases. It's all started with that quick tap taken by skipper Costa, and just found that Air Force defense snapping. So Sierra FC making a very strong early statement. Looks like they'll be intent on playing this game at a very high pace, and they've definitely laid the platform for that in this first few minutes of this game.
Lasindu Vishan wearing the number 8 jersey and back into the starting berth. He came off the bench last week against CH, and immediately the shift has been made to Chatra Seniviratna, taking on the kicking duties. It's a difficult kick from the left touchline, and he's hoping to curve it back, but just outside the right hand upright. A good kick though. Seniviratna shaking his head. He thought he should have done better, but Air Force will need to regroup. This is Devinder Ratnayaka, who won that first line out for Sia. Real Achilles heel in their game, and we've been used to Sia playing a more slower pace of game, Abdullah, but in the close season they've really upped their personnel and now need to play a different brand as Air Force look to start it again, and this kickoff is much better for them. First time that they've ventured into the opposition half. Here's Vimukti Fernando acting at the back of that scrum. Manilka Ruberu flying up in defense. Iddamalgoda. Straight through goes the lock Nilantha Jayavira. Now it's opening up for Air Force once again. Lovely angled run. Looking really comfortable with the ball in hand, Air Force. And running it all the way up to the 22 was Surya Kishan. Outstanding young player he was. Ravanka Bewadri with a lovely little short ball to Saraka Veralla. Lovely long ball again. Now this is Sudat Bandara. Sashika Ashan really upset with Kanta Iddamalgoda that time, who's wearing number 12. But they will come back for the penalty, I think.
So Shanaka, if these first few minutes of the game is anything to go by, I think we're going for a cracker of a game, because both teams are intent on spreading the ball, playing with a lot of width, and asking each other's defenses a lot of questions. So that just augurs well for the rest of the game. Looks like Air Force will be going to the post earlier on. Absolutely the correct decision.
And it's one of those days where it's made for running rugby, isn't it, Abdullah? It's nice and overcast, not too hot. The players aren't puffing and panting from that warm-up. So we should have a really entertaining 80 minutes of Nippon Paints rugby on the cards for us. Thank you for joining us here this afternoon on sportsads.lk and, of course, on the Sri Lanka Rugby Tuskers YouTube channel, as Nuwan Pereira lines this up with his left foot, the Air Force captain. Sorry, the Air Force scrum half, I should say. Saraka Veralla is captaining this game. And on his home ground, makes absolutely no mistakes. CR have left 5 points on the park. And for Air Force, they haven't left any in terms of opportunities. And it's 5 points to 3 with absolutely nothing in it. Almost 10 minutes gone.
Just as we have a look at the replay once again. Good strike by the Air Force scrum half. So despite the first few exchanges going the way of CR and FC, Air Force have done well to just be 2 points down going as we approach the 10 minutes of this first half.
If you look at it as a cost-benefit thing, Abdullah, Air Force just went into the 22, came back with 3 points, where CR had a lot of work to do to get their 5-pointer. Veralla collects it and makes the ball available for his scrum half. It's a good tackle that time by Ashan Darling, the big prop. Almost charged down. It was charged down, in fact, that time. And coming back into the field of play is Ruchira Ekanayaka. Not held, so he gets up and goes again. Kavindu De Costa. Rajesh Veerasinghe. Stepping back is Ravin De Silva, who has been doing a lot of good work in around the fringes. Lahiru Pavitra takes it inside the 22. Soiru Anthony was screaming for the penalty as soon as he went down, because the Air Force hands, he thought, were all over the ball. And referee Veranga says, please stay on your feet before you play that ball. And it looks like it was Nadun Gunasekar who might have given away that penalty. And Costa has a decision to make. Touch or 3 points.
Yes, looks like Seniviratna will just put that into touch. So it's about 10 meters away from Air Force's goal line. As we have a look at that once again, Lahir Pavitra taking the ball into contact. The Air Force player was definitely not on his feet.
One, keep you mark, one.
Could have been deemed cynical as well, because definitely was off his feet for a while, but nonetheless referee just awarding the penalty.
Vagish Veerasinghe at the back of the line out, a really good addition to Sia in terms of pace of their third row. Not a tidy line out again, so problems coming back to haunt them, but managing to keep the ball in hand. Costa directing traffic, wanting his pod of forwards, but Air Force really quick up in defense that time. Costa looks for his backs now. Air Force defense up very quickly and drifting nicely as well. Lashindu Ishan, the try scorer, acting as scrum half. Murshid Zubair gives the ball out, manages to get it out, and in fact it's going to be Gamunu Chetia going over the line. Dore with a little bit of a dummy managed to beat the man in the air and then passed the ball out in the back of the wraparound tackle there, and Gamunu Chetia was the man who still had to drag a player and go over the line. And referee Veranga has to award the second try for CRNFC. Those two boys combining well, the former Josephian and Wesleyite captain, combining for that try. Watch it here, Abdullah.
Yeah, that's right. Zubair did really well to draw the couple of players in and just create that little bit of space for Chetia. But again, Shanik, it's just that quick recycle ball, isn't it? That just asking a lot of questions from that Air Force defense, not letting the defensive line settle down. And CRNFC, the first few exchanges look really positive from their point of view. And if they can keep the pace, keep the game at this pace, I think it'll definitely suit them, because they do have the backs out wide to pose a lot of challenges to this Air Force defense.
Karan Jaiman on the sideline thought he'd scored against Kandy, but was deemed not to have, and that's a brilliant kick from Chatura Seneviratne. A much more difficult kick than the previous one that he missed on the other side. This is the consistency that he will have to work on as a player to develop himself, not just for CRNFC but for Sri Lanka as well. Real prospect in the 7s and 15s format. So Sia getting their second try on the board, and that won't please coach Shamli Nawaz for Air Force, because their defense has been found wanting on the second and third phase. Another really good kickoff taken by Sashika Ashan. The restarts continuing to let CR down. Here's 3 forwards lining up nice and flat, giving the ball carrier so many options. Idda Malgoda will put this one up in the air against the wind. It'll hang up nicely. Ruchira Ekanayaka doesn't call for the mark and runs it instead. Ekanayaka still going. It's a lovely break. So didn't see the player outside him, and it's Ashan Darling who thought that he'd done really well to get up to his winger in support, but it was deemed a forward pass.
It's a wonderful counter-attack by Ekanayaka. Could have called for the mark, but decided to launch an attack nonetheless. And Air Force, surprisingly, the chasers were just not in tune with that. As we have a look at that once again, pass that was deemed forward. Well, very questionable, you'd have to say. But nonetheless, good counter-attack by CRNFC.
Referee Veranga didn't seem too worried about that pass, but maybe he got a call from his assistant. Might have to have a word with him about that assistance later on after the game.
Boys, but bind call again, but all together bind up. Right? Right.
Got to feel sorry for Ashan Darling. Managed to keep up with his winger for about 30 meters there.
Coach! Bind!
Yes, will definitely feed. Hard done by.
Steady, boss, steady.
Penalty immediately for boring in from the loose head side. That's Dilshan Jaya who gets pinged. Going for the safety of touch. Almost to the 22. Assistant referee Atavara, who saw that previous pass as forward. Here's the Air Force captain. Been around for a long time. Lots of experience. But again, stolen that time by Sia, who looked to run this out. Plenty of confidence from them, but they're just getting it out to Chatra Senivaratna, who will thump this way down the park and get about a 40-meter gain.
It's a real disappointing outcome for Air Force. Had a line out in their own 22, was stolen, and to add salt to the injury wounds, Chatra Senivaratna has thumped it back down into Air Force's own half. So we'll be very disappointed with that. It would have been a good opportunity for them to strike back immediately after conceding the second try.
And the ball goes short, so a little bit of confidence lost in the Air Force line out now. Seru Anthony with an important tackle on Nuan Pereira, who just stormed through that line out. Here's Veral, the captain. Takes it up to halfway. Against the wind this time for Iddamal Goda, but he doesn't mind. He's managed to stump this all the way back to Murshid Zubair, who from the center of the field manages to get the ball over the 50-meter line, almost to the 40. So using the conditions well that time.
Yes, it's interesting that Air Force seem to be going through the boot, Shanaka, at least in this first half. As you're saying, they're playing against the wind, so they're probably expecting a little bit of assistance when the ball is put in the air. But so far, CR back three have been up to it and have managed to get hold of the ball whenever it's been kicked.
Good line out that time, won by Air Force. Lovely run by Veralla. He's done that a couple of times now, coming in on a wonderful angle. Good tackle that time from Vagisha Veerasinghe, but Nuan Pereira has it available. It's nice quick ball, and unfortunately there's a little bit of a fumble. Pass was forward from Tenukanane Akara, so the referee will come back for the original knock-on. So Air Force looked promising that time, just let themselves down.
Yes, they managed to get over that first line of defense of CRNFCs, but again, it's just that continuity, and that's probably been the difference between both teams in this first half so far. CRNFCs seem to be getting a lot of continuity at the breakdown, seem to get quick recycled ball, which Air Force just haven't been able to do. Right on the halfway mark. Now the scrum for CRNFC. Let's see whether they'll be trying to impose their dominance at set piece.
Lasindu Ishan just having a quick look to his left. Chooses to go right instead. It's not a great pass. Under pressure from Nuan Pereira, who's doing really well too. And that's a lovely grubber.
Would it be a 50-22?
It might be a 50-22, but maybe the scrum was over the line, Abdullah, so it was taken back, which is when the 50-22 meter doesn't apply. But a nice spot, good bit of vision for that little grubber.
Yes, they're trying a 8-9 move there, but there's a good pressure applied by Nuan Pereira on Kavindu, on the number 8, Lasindu Ishan.
Nice line out that time, won by Nilantha Jayavira. Got two good jumpers, have Air Force, Sashika Ashan and Jayavira. Nuan Pereira, Iddamal Goda under a little bit of pressure. And that ball was touched by Murshid Zubair, and Ruchira Ekanayaka was in front of him, so well, I thought Sia had got 10 meters back. Referee doesn't think they did. And here it is available for Nuan again. Lovely short ball, Abhivardhana is in space, just can't get the ball away. It's a forward pass. Just needed to give it a little bit earlier. Revank Abhivardhana found himself in acres of space. And the support line was just not good enough for him to give that ball away. Watch it here. Lovely short ball. Coming back was Tenukanane Akara. He just needed to give that ball there. And unfortunately, for Surya Kishan, he would have had a run in under the post, but it was just too far forward. And it's a fumble, but when they have the ball, looking really dangerous.
Yeah, that's right, Shanika. Just needed to get that pass out the first time, isn't it? Try to take that extra step, go over the man and pass, and when you do that, it's always a 50-50 opportunity, chance of that being successful.
Uncharacteristic mistake from Murshid Zubair, which has led to Sia being inside their 22. Senivratna again, and they can rely on the length of that boot. Again, not sure what that penalty was for. Was it man in front of the kicker? You've got to ask yourself, Abdullah, when the player's in front of the kicker and the ball is 50 meters down the pitch, whether it makes a real difference to the game.
Man in front.
But again, Sia's discipline letting them down. Nuwan Pereira will be very happy to put this one into touch, especially with a couple of lineouts that they have won easily.
Wait. Clear gap.
So first real attacking line out for Air Force. They lost one on the other side of the pitch, but managed to do well with this one. Want to set up that driving maul. It's gone to ground, but nothing illegal about it.
Use it now.
Tackle from the new lock, Devinda Ratnayaka. Reminds me a lot of Chilanka Samaravira, former Royal flanker. Devinda inside the 5-meter line. Air Force will keep this nice and close. Pick up and go. That's Abhivardhana again, who made the break that led to them coming into this territory. Veralla now gets in there as well, the captain.
Stay back. Use it.
So Veralla latching on to his opposite player, and the pre-latch that was caused so much controversy earlier on in the season seems to be a forgotten factor. Although this is very much allowed, the latching on of one player to the ball carrier is very much part of the rules. Sashika Ashan, they're inching towards the line, this Air Force team, nice and close, not taking any chances. None of the players being selfish about trying to get over the lines themselves. It's a good discipline. Sia have not conceded a penalty so far. They'll need to make sure they don't allow that. Sashika Ashan goes to ground, and just as I say that, referee Veranga puts his arm out for a penalty.
No. Stay back.
This is really rugged stuff. It's about the 10th phase now that Air Force are attacking this line, almost over the line. Sashika Ashan thought he had it. Veralla now. Can the captain finish it off? They're thinking about going left. Nuwan Pereira. Veralla just short again. It looks like the ball might be on the line. Referee Veranga looks and says no, it's held up, but they'll go back for the penalty. So really interesting passage of play there. Good discipline from both teams.
Yes, good composure shown by Air Force. They did not rush things. Sometimes the temptation is always there after a few phases to just spread it out to the 3 quarters, but they did well to keep it and keep on attacking through the fringes. Eventually, Sia penalized for offside.
Almost over the line there. Looked like the ball might be on the line from where we are sat, but of course the referee is just a few inches away, so he can see it much clearly without any angles interfering. Interesting call, Abdullah, that they've gone for a scrum. They feel like there might be a little bit of vulnerability. Watch the far side, the short side.
7.
Kamunu Chetia is pretty much isolated on that left side.
7.
But they go on the open side. Veralla looks for options, but didn't have a willing support runner. Nuan Pereira now goes to the left. But Sia have fanned out.
Stay.
Good tackle that time.
Use it.
Slow ball for Pereira. Iddamal Goda now. To Surya Kishan. Surya Kishan runs into his opposite player. Lasindu Ishan wants an obstruction called, but he's not getting it. Iddamal got a nice flat ball that time to his prop forward Vikramasinghe. Iddamal Goda again taking it nice and flat. Surya Kishan.
For Air Force's first try. So despite that early dominance by CRNFC, Air Force have just hung in there and have managed to reap the benefits of that. Pereira makes no mistake with the conversion, so it's just a 2-point game as we move into the last 15 minutes of this first half.
Really good opportunistic try there. And you have to say they deserve that, Abdullah. It's nothing opportunistic about the way it was maybe an opportunistic score, but they really deserved it for the amount of pressure that they put CRNFC under. Nuan Pereira has been a real spark for this CRNFC for this Air Force outfit. Abhivardhana has taken off his headband. And looks like he means business.
Get behind.
Chatra Seniviratne now puts the ball up in the air, and Abhivardhana, despite the good work, leaves that one. Here's a little bit of space opening up now. Chatra Seniviratne for Gamunu Chetia. Chetia in for the corner, and he'll come around. And for Air Force, they have conceded immediately after scoring, which is a cardinal sin for any team. And Gamunu Chetia runs in his second try.
Yes, what a reply by CRNFC. Again, the collection from the kickoff, isn't it, Chanaka? Air Force guilty on that occasion. Chetia may have put the finishing touches to that move, but a bit of wonderful work by Chatra Seniviratne before that. Bumping off a couple of defenders, drawing the defense towards him and creating that overlap for Chetia. As we have a look at that once again. Wonderful work by Chatra Seniviratne. And with that kind of space, I think Chetia, there's no stopping Gamunu Chetia with his pace for CRNFC's third try. So just the reply that CRNFC would have wanted, and they've got it.
This is an end-to-end game, isn't it, Abdullah? Really good bit of ball carrying from Seniviratne. Looking to add the extra points to Chetia's try, but that one is way across the face of the posts.
Yes, and it's not just the strength he showed, Shanak, it is also the awareness, isn't it, to identify that there was a 2-on-1 situation. Having his schoolmate outside him, knew what he could do with that kind of space, and just drew the final defender beautifully and passed it over to Chetia.
Dilshan Jaya, who will be in charge of making sure the lineouts don't go the way they did in the last couple of games. But despite the fact that Sia have scored 3 tries, Abdullah, the points that they've left on the park means that they're only 7 points ahead of Air Force, who've only scored the 1 try. So it's 17 points to 10, although it's 3 tries to 1. So shows the importance of making sure that those kicks go over. The try scorer now, Nuan Pereira, puts it up into the air. It's very difficult to judge for these players. So yeah, a little bit guilty of being hesitant at the restarts now.
Okay.
Not wanting to give away a penalty.
Okay.
Good ball carrying by Air Forces. Forwards really offering themselves up to the scrum half. Iddamal Goda goes into act. And that time it's Nilantha Jayavira who takes it at first receiver.
No!
Manilka Ruberu again with the important tackle on Veralla. And Nuan Pereira very skillfully, not making it too obvious, knocks the ball on so he can get the advantage. Number 7, Vagish Veerasinghe, a little too over-eager in the ruck. You've got to allow the 9 to play the ball.
It's the only thing in his defense. Shanaka probably felt that the ball was outside the ruck, had left the ruck, so that's why he tried to pounce on the loose ball, but referee Vairanga saw it otherwise.
Got to almost wait for the referee's okay before attacking that there. That's what the good players do at international level. They ask and say, "Can I go, sir?" They go on the referee's okay.
Number 4.
Some good young players in this Air Force team. Here it is here. Good tackle on number 25 it was. Air Force winning that line-up, looking to set up their ruck again. Their maul, I should say. And they have got some good arrowhead formations going here. Still going, it's the same maul. See, I've shown some good discipline in getting back, but they've allowed this maul to go a good 10 to 12 meters now. And it seems like it's knocked forward in the thick of that maul. It's gone to ground and the ball not emerging, so referee Vairanga has no hesitation. Well, it is a knock-on, so he awards it to Sia.
Yes, you've just sensed, Shanaka, during that maul, although they were making ground, the structure seemed to be breaking off the more forward momentum they got. So just that discipline is so very important when you're executing that driving maul.
It's a bleeding injury, so we'll come back for that. Here's Idda Malgoda, the playmaker. But again, it's been a story of the restarts, hasn't it, Abdallah? Air Force scoring, then dropping a ball, then on immediately after Sia scored, allowing Air Force back inside their 22 with not collecting that restart ball. It's been a common problem for a lot of teams in this Nippon Paints Club Rugby. Senu Ratna having a wry smile.
Crouch! Bind! Set! Thank you, boys. Stay. 5.
DeCosta will feed. Senu Ratna waits. And with the wind behind him, he will gain a good 50 meters. Sorry, he'll gain a good 30 meters. Kavindra DeCosta, CRNFC captain, knows that he's got two teams that he has to catch in that league table, Havelocks and Kandy. Here's Idda Malgoda with a bit of space. Unfortunately, the ball left behind. Vairalla's pass was just a little bit too in front of him. Lovely angle again by the Air Force number 8. You can see that they worked on that set piece and Sia haven't wisened up to it.
Yeah, that's right. Sia's midfield defense found wanting on a couple of occasions in this game, and fortunately for them, Air Force knocking that ball on. So a bit of a reprieve for CRNFC. But Shanaka, just looking at this first 35 minutes of this game, Air Force may be down 10 points to 17, but you'd have to say they'd be happy of the two teams because despite being on the back foot, both territorially as well as possession, they're just one score is the difference between both teams.
And that's even more of a factor, Abdallah, because they'll be playing with the wind in the second half. So you generally allow for a points differential for the wind, especially if it's strong. It's a good scrum by Sia, wonderful scrum in fact, and Air Force have done really well not to concede the penalty. Senu Ratna thumps this one up into the sky, might hit a plane on the way down if he's not careful. Chetia gets across as Air Force look to counter-attack. Gamunu Chetia didn't roll away quickly enough.
Back first.
Here's Air Force now. Vairalla trying to make amends. Soiru Anthony almost had that ball. And here is Air Force through the prop. Prasanna Madhusanka, but it's knocked forward again. And again, CRNFC guilty of giving away those penalties that have cost them games in the early part of this season.
It's just at crucial moments, isn't it? Just when you feel that they have got a little bit of ascendancy, just making those penalties which they could do without, and then just find themselves on the back foot. But what's encouraging from both teams so far, Shanak, in this game is both teams are intent on playing the game at pace, isn't it? And it's just lending to a wonderful spectacle. And as you correctly mentioned, probably the overhead conditions have a lot to do with that as well. It's been a very entertaining game. We've already got 4 tries in this first half. Dare I say, the way both these teams are playing, we'll probably see a few more in the second as well.
Yes, I think that's a fair gamble, Abdullah, to say that we will. Ramita De Silva looks like he might have got winded in a tackle. Hope he'll be okay. He's been quite good for Air Force going forward and back. He's been covering those kicks.
Hurry up, boys! Boys, hurry up!
Just a few minutes left for half time, and as you said, Air Force will be the happier team. We're talking about the points differential, and I would say that this wind, Abdullah, is about a 8 to 10 point wind.
Right, second in.
And any team that goes in with that kind of deficit at half time will know that they're almost in the lead, especially as this is their home ground. Lanka Rugby, former AC Patana star, played for Police for a couple of years and now has crossed over to CRNFC. Really important for their midfield he has been this season. Lasindu Ishan. It's a much better pass this time. Tenukananayakkara goes behind to Ruchira Ekanayaka. Murshid Dore coming back infield nicely. Is Gamunu Chetia still going, looking for his hat trick.
No! Stay back!
Does well to go to ground and make the ball available. Tenukananayakkara. Here's Ravin De Silva, and that pass is not a good one, but Rubero will look to rescue this. Chatura Seniviratna will put the big fend in and give the ball away, and Murshid Zubair will touch down for Sia. And this is the interesting thing, Abdullah. Both teams make try scoring look so easy with their ball in hand that the coaches will be tearing their defensive hairs out.
Absolutely, but just take a moment to give some kudos to Chatura Seniviratna, Shanaka. Within the space of 2 minutes, he's created 2 wonderful tries for CRNFC. Zubair and as well as Gamunu Chetia may have been the try scorers, but Seniviratna, dare I say, has been brilliant in creating both those tries, using his superior physical stature on both occasions, breaking tackles, drawing defenders towards him, and just creating the space for his outside backs. And it's just further extended this lead for CRNFC, which I'm sure will help them breathe a sigh of relief going into halftime, because the way the game was dominated, and as you're saying, the impact of the possible wind in that second half, they felt very uncomfortable just going in with a 1-score difference.
This is a crucial kick for Tenukananayakkara. Will take them to 24 as opposed to 22. Will give that 2-goal cushion. Though we don't talk about goals anymore, do we, Abdullah? We talk about tries and conversions, but that's a goal for CRNFC. We are old school here in this commentary box. So an important try and a good way for CR to end the half. And just that 1 score will change the mood of this Air Force huddle from what would have been quite happy earlier to one that will be a little bit concerned at this point in time. So that's halftime at the Air Force grounds here in Ratmalana. You're watching this Nippon Paints Rugby League game between Air Force and CRNFC live from Ratmalana on the Sri Lanka Tuskers YouTube channel. Sasika Ashan walking to the huddle. He'll have plenty to say in what has been a really entertaining game of rugby so far. We've seen plenty of tries scored, and we'll see plenty more to come, I'm sure, in the next 40 minutes as well. Zubair gave that to Gamunu Chetia. Zubair drew and passed, and again Chatura Seniviratna took it almost all the way. Good discipline for him to make that ball available without going for the try line, and Lasindu Ishan was the man who benefited from that. just barging himself, using his strength and going over the line. And that was Nuwan Pereira who put over the first points for Air Force. And then it was a nice little dummy here from Murshid Zubair, managed to get the ball away to Chetia in the end. And Gamunu Chetia scoring his first try of the evening. Seniratna with a brilliant conversion. Had to be a little bit more consistent because that's what he can do. And a quick tap taken by Nuwan Pereira, too quick even for the camera there as he stepped in off one foot then the other and barged over under the posts. Added the extra points himself, so it was all Nuwan Pereira at this point. He had 10 points to his name, as did Air Force. And then Soiru Anthony. Here's Chathra Seniviratna, puts the big fend in on Idda Malgoda. Trumps on Ramit De Silva, in fact. And Gamunu Chetia coming back. Sarga Veral thinking that perhaps he might have stepped over the dead ball line, but he hadn't. And here's the second try from Sia. That ball from Ravin De Silva looked like it might be a bit of a dangerous one, but Chathra Seniviratna recovering and running past the forwards. Lovely little one-handed offload. The two front rowers couldn't get across to check Chathra Seniviratna's run, and Murshid Zubair with his first try of the game. And Tenuka Nanayakkara with an important conversion. Have 5 tries scored in this half. We'll be back after the break.
Nippon Paints. Live with colors. Life is meant to be lived to the fullest. Live with joy. Live with nature. Live with hope. Live with trust. Live with dreams. Live with happiness. Inspire your life with colors. Nippon Paint.
වසර 130ක විශ්වාසයෙන් දැන් ඕඩලස් තාක්ෂණයෙන් Nippon Odorless Paints තත්වයෙන් උසස් හොඳම තේරීම.
Nippon Paints. Live with colors.
The largest paint supplier of Japanese vehicles, original equipment manufacturer approved, Nax Premila 2K is the most premium quality auto refinishing solution you will ever need.
Play to win the game. We'll take care of your aches and pains. Siddhale Spray. Trusted for 8 decades for quick relief from all aches and pains.
live with colors. Life is meant to be lived to the fullest. Live with joy. Live with nature. Live with hope. Live with trust. Live with dreams. Live with happiness. Inspire your life with colors. Nippon Paint.
වසර 130ක විශ්වාසයෙන් දැන් ඕඩලස් තාක්ෂණයෙන් Nippon Odorless Paints තත්වයෙන් උසස් හොඳම තේරීම.
Nippon Paints. Live with colors.
The largest paint supplier of Japanese vehicles, original equipment manufacturer approved, Max Premila 2K is the most premium quality auto refinishing solution you will ever need.
Play to win the game. We'll take care of your aches and pains. Siddhale Spray. Trusted for 8 decades for quick relief from all aches and pains.
Welcome back to live pictures here from the Air Force grounds in Ratmalana as we join action in the second half of this Nippon Paints Rugby League game between Air Force and CRNFC. At halftime, CR taking in a substantial lead, 24 points to 10. But the way this game has been going, that is certainly not going to be enough because it's been end-to-end stuff from both teams. Some outstanding tries being scored from either side. And now Air Force with the wind will fancy their chances. Murshid Dore takes it all the way up to the halfway mark. Hands it off to Lasinder Vishan. Lifted and dumped by his opposite number, Saraka Veralla, but safely so. Good discipline from the Air Force attackers. Kavindri Costa saw that the Air Force defense had come up and so puts the kick in. Gamunu Chetia. Here it is for Murshid Zubair. Lovely hands again from Manilka Ruberu, and what a try. That is the highlight reel stuff from the three young players on the outside of CRNFC's backline. Tenukanane Akara, Manilka Ruberu and Murshid Zubair. Unselfish play from all three of them. And a lovely chase from Gamunu Chetia as well. And good thinking from the captain, Kavindra De Costa, to thump that ball into the air. Here's a good pass from Tenukanane Akara, and immediately a quick ball back from Zubair. And a lovely back-of-the-hand offload from Manilka Ruberu to Tenukanane Akara, who scores the first try of the second half.
Yeah, what wonderful skill by the CRNFC lads. Wonderful support plays, awareness, and understanding as well. So just the start CR would have wanted. Give them a bigger cushion now. 19 points with a conversion to come. I'm sure something which Air Force just wouldn't have seen forthcoming, but just shows the importance of being secure at the back whenever the kick is being made. Seniratna just misses the kick, so the score will remain 29 points to 10. But CRNFC, just the start they would have wanted.
So another conversion which doesn't get made for CR, and as much as they're doing some good work, this is an area of the game that they will have to look at in the training week. Again, that strong wind coming from behind the goal post, just taking that outside the left hand upright. You can see that the body language of Air Force has maybe dipped a little bit. It's important that they don't allow that to affect them too much, because they have been playing some outstanding rugby with the ball in hand as well, especially this man, Nuan Pereira.
Right play.
Nicely taken by Chetia. It's been prominent in this game. The back three all have, in fact.
Stay. Use it.
De Costa looks for Seniviratna, who's in the pocket. Taken nicely that time by Nadun Gunasekara. Puts the ball back. Gamanu Chetia. Be a goal line dropout. Not a 22-meter.
Nada. Oh. Get behind ball.
Chatura thumps that one to the 60-meter line. Idda Malgoda now looks for some options in attack. This is where he's at his most dangerous. Swiveling out of the tackle, still going. Playing a bit of rugby league there, putting the ball back between his legs. Here's Revan Kabewardena. Made a good run early in the first half, but he's swamped by Soiru Anthony this time. Sia up quickly through Ravin De Silva. But it's still available for Nuan Pereira. Idda Malgoda.
Roll away.
And not rolling away that time was Devinder Ratnayaka. Referee Veranga has been very quick on this, and rightly so, because that's why we've seen so much quick ball for both teams from the breakdown, Abdullah, and that's good entertaining rugby, stopping the negative stuff early on.
Yeah, that's right. He's been very consistent in that part of the game as well. And the teams also, then they do get the message and are forced to comply. So this is going to be a very important line out for Air Force. It's critical that they do get a score within the next few minutes, just to give them that confidence to stay in the game.
Yes, it's crucial for them that they score next. Here is Darshana Dabare. Hasn't seen the ball in hand too much. Want him coming in off the... So that's another crucial line out that's lost. Taken well by Devinder Ratnayaka in the front. Kavindu De Costa running hard. There's a lot of physical training, De Costa, so it's good to see him putting that to good use. Tenukanane Akkara. Ball was kicked from inside the 22, but hangs up in the wind. Dabare. Here's Surya Kishan. Air Force in a little bit of trouble in their own half.
Use it.
Nuan Pereira. Nice flat ball from Idda Malgoda. But Devinder Ratnayaka has been good in defense so far. Nice ball, but lovely offload again in the tackle. Sashika Ashan. They're using him on the tram lines. Lovely run by Ashan. Sashika taking it up to the 40-meter line. Played as number 8 for Wesley, and you can see why, because he's got good ranging running skills. Ball knocked forward, and 2 knock-ons.
Offside. First knock-on, offside.
And it's ended up as a penalty.
Deliberate. Man in front, offside.
So errors at crucial moments during that passage of play by both teams. They had opportunities to launch threatening attacks on the opposition. Kossi just guilty of knocking the ball on that occasion, forcing one of his players who's in front of him to pick up the ball. And very correctly penalized as offside. So you can see Viraj De Silva and Viraj Prasanna and T.A. Silva, the kicking coach and forwards coach of CRNFC, So watching proceedings from the opposite end.
Former Sri Lanka teammates, I think those two. In the firing line and at the last line of defense, Tia Silva played as fullback. Viraj Prasantha, Sri Lanka's hooker for many years.
Hurry up, boys.
The forwards coach now and the kicking coach for Sia. And Tia Silva will want to do a bit of work with his kickers. Closing the gap, says the referee, so they will come back for the free kick, which Nuan Pereira very quickly says he wants a scrum.
So I'd expected them to try and take that quick tap and go, because the scrum has favored CRNFC so far in this game, and Nuan Pereira has always looked very willing to take that quick tap, just trying up the pace of the game. But on that occasion, just deciding to go for the scrum.
Crouch.
As you said, Sean, crucial for Air Force to get the next score in the context of the game.
Steady now.
Sia have made a change in their back row. We'll tell you who it is in a moment. Nuan Pereira, they look for the quick ball from Nuan Pereira, and now coming in is Isuru Jayaratna. Sorry, it's Amit Ramzan. And here's Sashika Shan, who made that quick break out of the of his own half. Here's Veralla, the captain, trying to spark things for his team. Nuan Pereira. It's available once again for Air Force, but good aggressive defense from Lasindu Ishan that time.
Play.
Nuan Pereira. Pereira again. Iddamal Goda with a nice ball out to Surya Kishan.
No, rock. Stay back, stay back.
Again for Iddamal Goda, nice flat ball. His distributing has been really good today. Surya Kishan leaves it and picks it up again. Good discipline from the outside centre. Still going. Such a dangerous player. If he's able to get a few games under his belt without injury. Nice inside ball again.
No.
That was Ramzan, the reserve, who's come on and making a difference already.
Captain. Captain.
Just have a listen.
Not trolling a repeated same infringement. Number 1.
So too many infringements, and Ashan Darling is the man who will see the yellow card for not rolling away. And it's maybe the second time that Ashan Darling himself has got pinged for this particular infringement.
Right.
Got a feel for Ashan Darling. There's a lot of him to roll. So he'll say that he needs a little bit more time than many others. There he is. He's trying to roll, but...
Well, I think the referee has probably pinned the wrong man, Shan, because I think it was Vagisha Seniratnam who should have been penalized, because he was the person who was not supporting his body weight at the breakdown. But for Ashan Darling was man I picked up by the referee.
Vagisha will say that's even Stevens for him. Got sent off against Candy when he was the wrong man. So he'll say that
Right, my call, boys.
the numbers have evened up.
Crouch.
So this is an important passage of play for both teams.
Steady, both steady.
If Air Force can get within 12 points, they'll be very pleased with themselves. Here's Veralla going. Taken down by Achit Radhishan. Sia defending with one man down in their line. Nuan Pereira looking for another opportunistic try. Just couldn't get the ball over the line. But just sees the gaps when they open up.
No, wait, no, release.
Almost over the line. Yes, a try is there.
First rounding.
It was coming and coming and coming. And finally, they get the ball over the line. And Air Force, as we said, in a crucial passage of play, finds the 5-pointer, and surely it will be a 7-pointer to get them within 12 points.
Yes, again, Air Force showing good composure, attacking on to the fringes, and eventually the CRNFC defense wilting. So it's saying that it's important for Air Force to get the next score, and that's exactly what they have done. So the game's back on now. It's 17 points to 29, till 2 scores away, but we just got to keep in mind that CRNFC will be short a player for the next 7 minutes or so. So it's important for Air Force to try and capitalize on that.
Referee with a worm's eye view there, got right down to floor level to see that try being scored. And despite the big frame of Senora Pereira, Surya Kishan featured prominently in the build-up play there for Air Force. And that's a much better restart from the Air Force team. Putting this one deep. And Lasindu Ishan is back like the good number 8 that he is. Richard Ekanaika just in front of the ball carrier there, but Murshid Zubair has done really well to take this ball 20 meters in the counter-attack. Here it is again for Achit Radishan, thumping the ball, and here it is for Gamanu Chetia. Manilka Ruberu looking for Chatra Sanivaratna, realizing there's no space, decides to go himself. Here's some really strong running by Ruberu. Quick ball for Costa. Tenukanane Akkara.
Advantage.
Revan Kabewardhan almost got that intercept, but Achit Radishan, who started it all off, got the penalty, and this is where CR will need to slow things down maybe and go for post, but instead they go for the... And that's Gayanta Iddamalgoda coming straight in. And although the referee was paying advantage, I think Iddamalgoda might see a card here. Yes, he does. It's a deliberate knock-on. So both teams down to 14 players. I think they really need to find their 3 points here. They're within 12 points. Just get to 15-point margin. That's what I would think, but got the momentum with them.
Yes, it's an interesting choice because all the both teams are down to 14 players. Air Force have lost their fly half, while CRNFC, they have lost their prop forward, so they'll actually be 1 player down at line-out time. Decided to go to the line-out nonetheless. Could hear the CR bench tend to try and take the short tap and go, but probably Costa feeling that things had settled down for them to do that.
Certainly would have gone for the post myself, Abdullah, but that's why I'm behind the mic and not out there.
All on the line.
Rachit Adishan at number 2 for CR.
Wait.
Referee Veranga trying to make sure he polices that gap at the front of the line-out. Prevent the jumping across. Nirmal Vikramasinghe is a man who would want to try and steal this one. And it's very, very crooked.
What do you want?
So a lot of pressure on that throw.
Line out, scrum. Scrum.
And Dilshan Jaya found wanting again. Sia's line-out has let them down at crucial moments.
Yes, and that's another occasion as well. Probably if they manage to get that, try and impose that driving maul. Got to realize Shanak also give a bit of leeway to the hookers. It's very windy conditions here, especially if you are not used to it. It's always difficult to adjust.
That lift didn't look like it was on time either, to be fair to him. Verala going off the back, chopped down in the tackle by Rachit Adishan. So getting out of jail in the end. Surya Kishan, who's not a big lad, but very strong, low center of gravity.
Keep your mark,
In and around the Sri Lanka squad for a while. Like Kaushika Kaluarachi has come on for Air Force. Soiru Anthony. Again, a lot of pressure on the line out, so the wind is really affecting them.
Yes, and also I think tactically they've just got to be a bit more smart, isn't it, Shanika? When it's such windy conditions, probably a flat throw to 2, at most 4 should be the call, but a lot of movement in the line out as well. It's very hard for the hooker to worry about the wind as well as find the target. It's probably those calls, just as crucial calls. It's just so very important just to ensure that you know what the environment is offering as well. As soon as the second row tries to knock the ball back from his outside arm, the referee is always going to deem that the throw was crooked.
Set. 6 in.
Veralla off the back again. Makes good ground. Beautifully done by the Air Force captain. Dragged down by Ruberu. Hands it off to his support player, the lock. Here we are through Air Force again. Flat ball, but that time again, pass has too much on it for Abhivardhana. And Sia will get out of jail. Air Force has a player down. This is a little concerning for them. It's like he's in a bit of pain, so hopefully it's nothing too serious. Might be a shoulder or a knee. Can't tell you who it is at the moment. Might be Ramzan there, who's just come off the bench. Here's Veralla. It is Ramzan, just goes over under his own weight there, I think. Yeah, he's holding his ankle, so he might have just turned it. It's not too serious.
Number 28. We are going to lead.
There's probably in this game so far, Shanika, 2 areas which probably CR will be a bit disappointed. One is the line out, as we just talking before, and the other point is the point of points that left through the boot. Isn't it? Seniratne, as good as a game he has had, has not been as accurate here as they would like to in terms of kicks to goal.
Right.
It's probably the reason why always the Air Force have been within touching distance for the greater duration of this game.
Time on.
Looks like the lateral ligament of Ramzan's knee is what they're spraying. Good to see him back on his feet, though. Former Zahira player, following his old coach, Shamli Nawaz, to Ratmalana from Maradana. He is taking his place back in at the inside center role. And we're back live now in this crucial game between CRNFC and Air Force. Air Force hosting at Ratmalana at this wonderful facility. Really is an outstanding sports facility, indoor basketball court, wonderful swimming and diving pool, and this big ground here, plenty of space. Could be very proud of their facilities. Here's Dore. Ball goes backwards to Kavida De Costa. And it's a good turnover from Air Force. And now without a fullback, Sia will be under a little bit of pressure. And Murshid Zubair in the end gets back. And they will have a 5-meter scrum. So the wraparound pass just not getting the angle there. But Sia doing well enough to recover and not concede a try.
Yes, I think he just fired the pass back to Zubair. I think he just needed to pop it to his skipper who was wrapping around him. And as a result of that error, CRNFC find themselves under a bit of pressure, just 5 meters away from their goal line.
I think they have been restored to their full complement though. Vagisha Veerasinghe is back, as is Ashan Darling. So they'll have their first choice front 5 for this scrum as well as all 8.
Crouch! bind. Set. Steady both.
Veralla goes off the back but met by the tackle of Vagisha
Release.
Veerasinghe.
Red.
This is where Air Force scored from last time, and if they score again, they will just be one score away. Lahiru Pavitra makes a tackle. So Air Force backs, or the forwards I should say, have not taken a step back against this CR pack, backed themselves at every occasion, but as I say that, they make a mistake.
Off the feet.
And straight down is the supporting player. Number 23, Supun Lianage, is a man who's pinged that time.
Red 2. Red number 2.
That was a crucial reprieve for CRNFC at that breakdown. Referee Veeranga penalizing the Air Force supporting player for not staying on his feet. So once you do that, it's not a fair contest at the breakdown.
Yes, it would have been a big problem for them if it was 29-24. Again, the line out bounces kindly off break into the hands of the Air Force team. Veeralla has been full of running today. Lovely offload as well from the Air Force skipper. Ravin De Silva drives Kalu Pahana back, Kalu Arachi back, I should say.
No, run away!
Again, Ashan Darling is penalized again, and he's just come back from the sin bin for not rolling away. And to be fair to him, I think he was doing his level best with the commando crawl there as well. Might be time for Ashan Darling to go to the bench. That ball hasn't found touch, and Gamunu Chetia will back himself. Here he goes, looking for his hat trick, coming back into the center of the field, but a really good tackle that time by Vikramasinghe on the winger. Looked like he had everything to spark that counter attack, but ran himself into the defense, and that's not a great clearance that time.
Red 19.
Yes, Air Force are committing mistakes at crucial moments, but CR just unable to relieve the pressure. Looks like CRNFC have made that change at the hooker position. Experienced Supun Varnakula Surya has come in for Dilshan Jaya.
Kavin Srivukum is going in the number 3 jersey as well.
Time on.
So 2 replacements in the CR front row. That's a good win for Air Force in the line out. Veeralla is a man who has it at the back. Dragged down by Vagisha Veerasinghe, who has been terrific in defense once again. Still going is Vikramasinghe, the big prop.
Offside.
The referee is paying advantage for offside, so
Again offside.
Air Force will have another bite of the cherry. And it might be another yellow for this CR team, who has been infringing in the red zone.
Right.
It's a time off, says the referee, and it's Vikramasinghe who did really well in that build-up play, who's on the floor, but...
Number 13. Right. Valen. Right. Line offside deck cano. That's a block tackle deck cano. Please control card and natta maila offside right. Last one,
Supun Varnakula Surya just come on, so he's under a little bit of a warning for a block tackle.
Scrum.
The Air Force have looked very threatening when they have attacked through the fringes, is Dechanaka. Vast, their technique has been good just on that one occasion, being penalized for going off their feet. But other than that, they've definitely posed a big threat to the CRNFC defense whenever they were attacked around the ruck.
Rakesh Veerasinghe, who has a well-deserved rest, and on comes Shehan Kalaniagoda. He'll get 15 minutes to prove himself.
Steady, both steady. Steady.
Here's where Kalaniagoda makes the first tackle since coming on.
Stay. Use it.
Nice ball across the face of the CR defense. They are under a warning here, remember, so they have to be very, very disciplined.
Get back, step back.
Finns defense being tested once again. Picking and going, this has been done very well by Air Force, sticking
Stay back.
to the basics very well.
No.
Straight over the top that time, Air Force. Desperate to get that try, which will get them within a point, or within a score rather. Another penalty coming for Air Force. So CRNFC again, their discipline letting them down at an important stage of the game. Senga Pereira makes an important tackle. And there they are once again.
Get back.
Body position not ideal that time in that pick and go. Still available. That's better body position that time. From Air Force, nice and low. Can bet your bottom dollar Coach Nawaz has drilled this into them. And another penalty. That's referee saying that he needed to take it from the mark. Lucky not to get a yellow card there as well. There was clearly a CR hand in that ruck there.
Time off.
Yes, and this kind of attack, constant attack, is probably taking a lot out on that CR8 as well, isn't it, Shanak? As we approach, as we are well into this final quarter of the game, it's not easy to constantly defend that those fringes and the pressure that Air Force is applying as well. They are putting so much pressure that they are extracting the penalty on many occasions, and they probably find themselves a little bit lucky to have their full complement of players on the field as well.
Hurry up, boys.
This is a massively important scrum for both teams. Could decide the fate of this game, really.
Set. Steady. Both steady.
And again the penalty, quickly taken, and Kaluarachi is over, is he? No, not yet. And this is where the new rules make things difficult, but referee Veranga manages to spot that ball in the melee of players there, and at the second time of asking, Kaushika Kaluarachi manages to get over the ball. He's only a little guy, but managed to burrow his way like a terrier in between those CR forwards and dot the ball down. Referee right on the spot to see that ball there.
Number 3, collapse karno.
And the extra points are added easily, and suddenly it's a 5-point ball game.
Yes, just approaching the final 10 minutes of this game, and you have to give credit to Air Force as well. They've just been hanging in there despite CRNFC going all guns blazing in that first quarter of the game. Whenever CRNFC have scored, Air Force have just managed to hang in by countering and scoring themselves. And as a result, just find themselves one score away.
You have to think that that first try that Sia scored early on in the first half just gave them a little bit of complacency. This is a young team, and they might have thought the game was easily won at 29 points to 10. As the rains come down as well, which will lessen the ability of the teams to run this ball and also put pressure on the high balls a little more. So Sia will need to desperately attack this last 12. Lovely pickup from Tenuka Naneyakkara. Lasindu Ishan does equally well. Here he goes. Haven't seen him with ball in hand too much today. He's been doing a lot of defending. Nice little chip over the top from Tenuka Naneyakkara.
Offside.
And again the line is offside for referee Veranka, so he'll come back. As no advantage
Offside.
it's forthcoming, and you have to think that you've got to look for the 3 here.
Ready. Pause.
Yes, and very correctly, they've gone to the post. The kick is put over, then Air Force will have to score twice.
Well, there's still 12 minutes or maybe a little bit of injury time left in this game, Abdullah, so they can't be looking at desperation measures at the moment. But this is where I thought that 3 points earlier on, when they had the opportunity, would have taken them to 32. And when a team is in their teens and another team is in its 30s, then that psychological pressure will build up on the team that's chasing. But 29 to 32, it's not just 3 points, it's a huge psychological load. Important pressure from, and it's absolutely got the distance, but no accuracy. So again, T.A. Silva will be shaking his head on the sidelines as kicking coach,
Behind the ball.
as they've left quite a few points on the park today.
Behind the ball.
Gayantidda Malgode is back after his stint in the sin bin, but Nuan Pereira will continue as fly half. Kavindu de Costa to Chetia, to Lasindu Ishan rather. Ishan caught in a high tackle, but no pressure on that, no force really, so referee allowing it to go on. Here's Nuan Pereira, now at fullback. It's been all over for this Air Force team. Veral.
Ball.
Looks like that will be a maul and may come to CRNFC. Yes, it will. That's good strength shown by Senura Pereira and Manilka Ruberu
Blue 5.
to hold up the Air Force
Blue number
player.
5.
It's a crucial bit of defensive work by Sia.
5-5.
Probably the Air Force player just guilty of running upright, and the Air Force, the CRNFC defense was quick to pounce on it.
Time on.
Just these stages of the game, Shanik, you just cannot afford to turn possession over with mistakes like that.
Sashika Ashan has been replaced
Bind.
for Air Force,
Right,
so
thank you, boys.
fresh legs in the tight 5. Good drive by Sia. Tenuka Naneyakkara. Lovely hands for Chatura. Seniviratna still going. And unfortunately that slippery ball. Talked about it as the rains came down a little earlier. It's just the kind of ball that becomes a bar of soap on this field. But again, an opportunity missed for CRNFC.
Yeah, that's right. Seniratna has been so good with ball in hand today. Fortunately, just at that crucial moment, knocking the ball on, because there was definitely a few options available to him. And the Air Force defense was on the back foot as well.
Chatura Seniviratna, I can't remember the character of the nursery rhyme, Abdullah. You've had small kids, so maybe you'll remember this. But it reminds me of that character. When she's good, she's very, very good. But when she's bad, she's awful.
5.
So it's that kind of...
Oh
dear. That's an important interpretation of the call from referee Veranga. I thought that Air Force just didn't hold the pressure there at all.
Wait. Offside.
Isuru Jayaratne wanted to take it quickly. It's interesting to see that scrum again, where the Air Force managed to just con the referee into that penalty, but Nuan Pereira, he's really done everything for this Air Force team today, and what a good touch finder that was.
Yes, crucial touch finder, as you mentioned, Shanaga, and an opportunity for Air Force here. FC will definitely feel the pressure.
He talked about the wind in that first half and said that it might be a wind that is worth a good 10 to 12 points. Air Force swarming all over the CR skipper.
Stay.
Good defense that time by the new man Isuru Jayaratne on the pitch for Sia. They're allowing that ball to bounce. Dabere puts it across the face. Now it's available for Air Force. Some willing runners now. They've got their tails up and know that they have to throw everything at the CR team. Senura Pereira chases up and tackles well. Veral. His umpteenth carry. Soiri Anthony just not able to roll away in time. And that ball goes forward. So it will be a scrum down for Sia. Kept their discipline that time and allowed the Air Force player to run the 10 meters before they tackled him.
What early happened back in. Right?
That's the ball. So I think the referee, Veranga's got that spot on. You heard him saying, Ange Happenaba, which means that you can't run into a player who's not 10 meters and expect him to win the 10 meter.
Captain.
You can't initiate the contact as the ball carrier.
Right? What early happened back. What only time make it a Sri Lanka. Right?
Kaluarachurada being explained why that was not a 10-meter infringement. Can't take a quick tap and initiate the contact on the defending player who's attempting to retire. That used to be what scrum halves used to do in the old days. But now the rules have wisened up to it and they consider it as negative play.
Steady, both steady.
The thunderclouds in the background as Costa will give this to Chatura Seneviratne. Thumping this straight upfield. And well taken that time by Nuan Pereira, who'll take it quickly and go. Good tackle on his opposite number. In fact, it was Ajit Radishan who made that tackle. Air Force don't have the numbers, but that tackle may have looked worse than it was, but I think we will see a card of some color. And oh dear, I think that might be the color of his jersey. Not sure whether, there's obviously no TMO, but
yes, probably the only redeeming factor where he won't get a red is the landing was on the back rather than the head. So again, just depends on how, since we don't have TMO, how the referee saw or his assistant saw it.
Well, I think 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, and Ruchira Ekanayaka will probably count himself lucky that the card is yellow rather than red.
Yes, well, I guess in the context of this game, Shanaka, it probably won't matter because we're just approaching the final few minutes. So regardless whether it was a red or yellow, CRNFC will have to complete this game with just the 14 players.
Good to see the player who received the tackle able to get right back on his feet.
This is also when under pressure, CRNFC's discipline has been found wanting, isn't it, Shanak, on a few occasions. That was another such one.
It's a bit of leadership, and I think they really need to look to Costa and also to Soire Anthony and Lasinda Vishan in that forward pack. Really good line out that time. He's been good in the line out, Dilantha Jayavira. Coming off the back, and that's Nirmal Vikramasinghe, the big prop forward who has been featured quite well. Idda Malgoda throws a dummy, but Tenuka Kara doesn't bite.
No advantage.
No advantage, says the referee, so they'll go back for the penalty for a side entry in the mall.
Side.
The Air Force supporters looking tense, as does the Air Force team.
Side.
It's turning out to be a real entertaining encounter, Abdullah, and has been the case in many of the Nippon Paints Rugby League encounters this season. Gayan Jayamana probably nursing an injury, hasn't featured in the last couple of games. Can see the Air Force supporters full of advice. Here's where we see the side entry coming in. Nicely won by Air Force again this time. Going off the back, that's a loose pass. But Surya Kishan makes a really good run. Jayaratne. And here's the prop forwards out on the wing, which is not something you like to see too much at this stage of the game. Manuka Pereira. Jayavira held up that time by Ruberu again, but they do well to release. Kaluarachi, lovely ball across the face of the post to Nuwan Pereira. Stepping back in was Darshana Dabare. Kaluarachi to Idda Malgoda has been distributing brilliantly today. Veral dragged down in the tackle.
No!
And looks like Lasinda Vishan has done brilliantly to turn that ball over. And now the chase is on. All the CRNFC chasers are coming in. And Gamanu Chetia does brilliantly, but I think he might have done his knee in. Oh dear, oh dear. Gamanu Chetia looked like he properly hyperextended his knee there. And it looks like that's the game. So in that melee, it's full time, 29 points to 24. Air Force getting the bonus point as well as a losing bonus point. And we've seen
time over. First knockout.
The game coming to an anticlimactic end there because it, I think everybody missed it in how helter-skelter that last few moments was, and referee Veranka blows full time, and it takes a few minutes for everyone to sink in that that entertaining 79 or 80 minutes has come to an end, and the Air Force team can't believe their luck, and Ravin De Silva starts the celebrations, well, not the celebrations, but the commiserations, and shaking hands with the rest of the with his opponents. So that's the end of the game. And what an entertaining game it has been. An outstanding match to watch from the sidelines. It would have been a stressful game to play. A stressful game for the coaches as well. But it has been a superb one for the neutrals watching.
Absolutely, Shanak. And we have to say well done to both teams. Both teams came out to play today as well. And I think that's what just lent to the spectacle. They were not afraid to give the ball air. It was end-to-end rugby for most of the time. CRNFC probably dominated that first half, but Air Force just hung in there and kept on coming back into the game. And you have to say this is probably one of the more entertaining games of the Nippon Rugby League thus far.
Certainly not just a scoreline, but the amount of tries that was scored as well. And some good tries, Abdullah. Some off first phase, some off pick and go, some off counter-attacks, some off some really good ball movement as well. So we had the whole gamut of tries being scored, good kicking, some outstanding play from Nuwan Pereira and Saraka Veral of this Air Force team. And of course the youngsters from Sia Murshid Zubair made a few mistakes at the end of the game, but was very good at the start. Gamanu Chetia just couldn't get his hat-trick. Hope he's not too badly damaged in that final passage of play. And some good defense and good attack as well in the forwards carries. Yes, Here's the first try of the game. Chatro Senivaratne did well not to reach out. And Lasindu Vishan was the man who scored, so he featured early and featured late on with a crucial intervention to turn that ball over when Air Force were attacking. And the man of the match for this Air Force team is Luan Pereira, easily slotting over the first 3 points. And there's Dore with a little bit of a dummy for Chetia to go over. And Chatro Senivaratne with one of the few conversions for Sia. Left about 10 to 12 points on the park. Luan Pereira taking it quickly for the first try for Air Force. And even though Sia had scored 3 tries by this point, it was only 19 points to 10. Sir Anthony giving that ball, and here's Chatro Senivaratne. Found a weak tackler and managed to send Gamunu Chetia over for the try. His second try of the evening. And then Sia scored a couple in quick succession. Tenuka Nanayakkara, Ravin De Silva managing to find Manuka Ribeiro, who did well to stay composed. And Senivaratne, a lovely fend there, knowing exactly what he can do to get his arm free. And Murshid Zubair, the recipient of some good play there, scoring his first try of the game. Tenuka Nanayakkara's conversion, a crucial one on the stroke of half-time. Was 5 tries in the first half alone, and this was the first try of the second half, the ball being unkind to Surya Kishan that time, and Murshid Zubair doing really well to put that ball back in field, and Manuka Ribeiro doing even better with that back of the hand offload for Tenuka Nanayakkara to score his try. And that's when Air Force mounted their comeback. This is the first one that they scored. Referee getting down and looking almost under Senora Pereira to be able to see that ball grounded. And a really well taken try here from Kaushika Kaluarachi, the reserve scrum half. Him coming onto the field really made a difference for Air Force. They started to play with a lot of pace. Luan Pereira converting. And that's how the match finished at 29 points to 24. Just a one score in it. 5 tries to Sia. Air Force getting 3 tries. But again, you see the conversion and penalty tally much greater for Air Force rather than Sia, leaving several points on the park in terms of missed penalties and missed conversions. So that'll be something for them to go back and work on. But they got the bonus point, and they will also get the W. So they'll creep up towards Havelocks and Kandy, who are leading the Nippon Paints Rugby League points table at the moment. Abdullah, fantastic game of rugby so far.
Absolutely, Shanak. I think whoever has come up to Ratmalana today has witnessed some really good rugby. Both teams intent on playing, throwing the ball about. And really a lot of errors as well, isn't it, Shanak, in certain aspects of the game. Sia had many opportunities to just try and close the game out, but the line out just did not function today, and that just kept helping Air Force to get back into the game. They also did not take the points that came their way through the boot, through conversions and penalties, and those are 2 areas probably the coaching staff will need to look closely at as they go in to the remainder of this league title.
Well, that brings us to the end of another fantastic game of this Nippon Paints Rugby League, live from the Air Force grounds in Ratmalana. Thank you very much for joining us on Sri Lanka Tuskers YouTube channel. We'll be back with much more action from the Nippon Paints League next week. Until then, from Abdullah Yusuf and Shanak Amarasinghe, it's bye for now.
is meant to be lived to the fullest. Live with joy. Live with nature. Live with hope. Live with trust. Live with dreams. Live with happiness. Inspire your life with colors. Nippon Paint.
වසර 102ක විශ්වාසයෙන් දැන් ඕඩලස් තාක්ෂණයෙන්
Nippon Odorless Paints. තත්වයෙන් උසස් හොඳම තේරීම.
Nippon Paints. Live with colors.
the largest paint supplier of Japanese vehicles. Original equipment manufacturer approved, Nax Premila 2K is the most premium quality auto refinishing solution you will ever need.
Play to win the game. We'll take care of your aches and pains. Sidale Spray. Trusted for 8 decades for quick relief from all aches and pains.
Nippon Paints. Live with colors.